Okay, so that is done. And now I'm going to go ahead and let me see where my face is. Okay, so hi, I'm Kirsten. A lot of you guys know me as Kiki. Hey, and tonight we're going to get really nerdy and talk about email, and specifically how you can use your free Mailchimp account and get the most out of it and set a lot of stuff up, because I know it's really overwhelming. I think I've had my email list for about 3 years, but I didn't know what I was doing for the first year. I just sort of heard I was supposed to set up an email list. And so I set up an email list, and that's, yeah. And then I just had it and didn't do anything with it and didn't know what I was doing. And so in the last year or so, I would say I got really intentional about growing my email list, and it has grown. But we'll talk a little bit about growth and some other stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and dive in. This is the last time you guys will see me until maybe the end. So bye. But I won't be monitoring the chat. Roxy, if there's anything, okay, so yeah, if you need anything, just tell Roxy and she can tweet me, because I've got my phone right, or not tweet me, but text me. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and dive into the screen share. Bye, you guys. And here we go. Present to everyone. Yes. Okay. So you should be able to see that now. I'm gonna click and just check the chat really fast. Okay. You have a lot of issues. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to jump out of the chat now and go right into just scrolling around for here. Okay, so making the most out of Mailchimp. And need to make the screen a little bit bigger so you can see the whole thing. Let me see if I can zoom out just a little bit. Zoom out. I did zoom in. There we go. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see that. I've got made these pretty slides. You guys will be getting a book of this after it's over. So making the most out of Mailchimp. Tips and tutorials to maximize your free Mailchimp account. That's what we're going to be talking about. So let's start with why email. And like I just said, everybody says so. And that's really why I started an email list. I don't know if that's why you guys started one. If so, you can type yes in the chat. That's why I started one. I think, Jenna, I know at least you probably started one because I told you to. But anyway, everyone says so. And that's not the right reason. But I really do think this is why most people start an email list. Now, if I tell you to, that might be the right reason, because it's me. But you do need a real reason to start an email list. So I'll give you 3. And I know you guys already, all 3 of you are on lists. But just in case you're not sure why you started one or why it was a good idea, the first reason is that it's legal. The second is that it's personal. And the third is that it's yours. And I have the it's yours the biggest. We're going to talk about all 3 briefly, but to kind of hit on that, you can't take Facebook, Insta, Twitter, or Pinterest with you, or any of your other social platforms. So if they all decided to make you pay, which Facebook is moving more that way towards like their pages and stuff, or Instagram just died tomorrow, which is not likely, or any of those things, you don't have those contacts anymore. They're just gone. So that's the kind of it's yours part. And we'll get into that again in a minute. So why email? The first point, it's legal. There's something called the can spam law, or a set of laws. And this is super boring, but it's really important because you can actually get fined. And I think it's something insane, like $10,000 to $15,000 for spamming people through email. I know. Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's terrifying. It probably will not happen to you, especially if you're using an email list. Okay, so we're talking tonight about Mailchimp. There are a couple other providers that you can use, but you need to use a provider. You do not want to send a big, giant, massive email to all of your friends. They're not going to go after somebody who's doing that with, like, they're, forwarding something to 50 people or whatever. But if you're starting to send business emails to tons of people through just your regular email and not on a list, you're going to get in trouble. So you need permission. You need to be honest about what you're doing, and you need to allow an unsubscribe option. It's no sweat if you're using something like Mailchimp, because they take care of all that for you, because they would also get in trouble if they were allowing people to break these laws for the most part. I mean, there's so much they can be responsible for. So don't freak out about the legal stuff. Just know that if you're using Mailchimp or one of those, that you are already a step ahead of, following the guidelines and all that stuff. So it's legal. You got to be legal. You don't want to owe a crap ton of money to somebody. So why email? The second reason, it's personal. And I love this one. People have to go somewhere to connect via social media. Like if I want to see what Jenna you're up to at the Gleeful Gourmand, I have to go to your blog or I have to go to your Facebook page and see if you've linked to something recently. If I have your email, then I can just send it right to your inbox. And I don't know about you, I have a smartphone. I check my email all day long, mostly to delete things I don't want to read. So that's a whole other issue, is getting people to read yours. But it is personal because it comes to you. It comes to the person you're trying to reach. So it is an intimate connection, even if we get 500 a day. And I can't wait to, I don't know, check my email after this, because I'll probably have 80 emails from just this hour. So it's personal. And the third reason, which is my favorite, is it's yours. So if your blog disappeared or your Instagram got hacked, you still have your email list. And these are very real things that happen. Again, this is not about scare tactics. Don't freak out. It probably won't happen to you, but I do know people who have had their Instagram hacked. I know people who have had their Facebook page blocked or had been blocked from Facebook because Facebook did not like what they were posting or thought they were being spammy. I know people who have had their blogs deleted by Blogger for just reasons that make no sense to me. And I've actually accidentally deleted a blog before, and it was a terrifying and terrible day. Terrible, terrible day for me. So if you have an email list, you have that. You can take it with you. Which tip for you, maybe not right now, unless you're really good at multitasking, but you can save your email list to Excel. So when you're in Mailchimp, you can actually take that list, copy and paste it, or export it. I think there's an easy export option. I'll have to look again, but save that list to Google Docs or save it to Excel. And then say like Mailchimp disappeared tomorrow, you'd still have your email list. You have it in an Excel folder. Now, none of this will help you in case of zombie apocalypse and we lose all power. And then you're just, you don't need an email list. You need an axe and some drinking water. So, hopefully that's the only time I'm going to talk about the zombie apocalypse tonight. But yes, and I saw a question in there about getting the link for later. I will make sure, if you guys are not on the list, that we can get this to you. So stick around after and I'll make sure to get your email, or just stick your email in the comments and I'll look back. You can also send me an email, kirsten@kirstenoliphant.com. Okay, so why Mailchimp? We've talked about why email. Here's why I love Mailchimp. It's free up to 2,000 emails. That's a big number. I don't know how big your lists are, but that's a big number. And if you're trying to grow your list authentically and you're kind of a blogger who writes about life or various things like that can take a while. I feel like your email list is so valuable. It's a valuable asset, but it's the hardest thing to grow. Like Twitter, I mean, if I had more time, I could grow Twitter like there's no tomorrow, but I don't see a lot of return from Twitter. I see a lot of great connections, like Anita. I met Anita, who's in here. I met you on Twitter. Yay, Twitter. But I don't see a lot of quick clicks to my website from Twitter. So it's easier to grow, but it doesn't get the return versus how many clicks I get if I send an email. It's more. So it allows you to save templates. I love that about Mailchimp. If I want to go send a new email, I can go into campaigns and click recently sent and just change out the text and use the same exact format that I already spent time making and just replace the pictures. It's pretty. That's the other reason. You can be as fancy or non-fancy as you want with Mailchimp and the things that you want to do. So that's something pretty cool about it. So if you want to just send a plain text email, you can do that. If you want to send images and have your header and all things like that, you can do that. And something kind of important, I think there's something to social proof, which is kind of when you can see kind of who they are, like if they have a good following all over the place and stuff like that. Some of the big people still use it. Like example, By Regina. And if you guys don't know who she is, if you're a blogger, you really need to get over to byregina.com. She is amazing and always has great free resources, but she still uses Mailchimp, and she is I don't know what her following is, but I know she is super active and there's tons of people listening and pinning and just using her stuff. So she's really big. And Laura Fuentes from Momables, she just switched this year because I'm on her list and I noticed that it switched to Infusionsoft, which is like I think it's like $99 a month to start with. Woo! But she has a list of something like, I heard her talk about email list and it was like 30 or 40,000 people a couple of years ago. So she has a lot. So she was using Mailchimp up until this year. So big dogs still use it. To me, that gives it some more validity if I didn't already think so. It's not just small people using it, and it's free. You can save templates. It's pretty. And you can also, I put this at the bottom, you can pay to get extra features with a small list if you want, but I'm all about the free until you need the payment. So, okay. Now here's what I want to say. Building an email list is stinking hard. It's just really hard. And if you have been building a list and it's stinking hard, please write it's stinking hard or yes in the comments that it's hard. If someone tells you that it's not hard, they are probably selling something. And I mean that literally. I don't just mean like, oh, they're a salesman. I mean literally, because the people who have the fastest growing list tend to people that offer something of value, which is kind of my next slide here. So people who, like, for example, are who are bloggers who blog about blogging, or writers who write about writing. I'm going to use Jeff Goins as an example, and not to knock on Jeff because he has some great content. I just linked to something of his today. I know you read it, Jenna. He wrote a book and it did pretty well, and then he started I'm not sure if he started the blog first, but he started blogging about how to be a writer. And his list grew not because of his book, although his book did well, but his list really grew because he was teaching people something they wanted to know. So it's harder if you're writing or you're just blogging about like life or whatever you feel that it's harder to grow than if you're like, hey, I can, because what people do is they say, hey, here's how I got 10,000 people on my list in 6 months. Well, then they get 10,000 people on their list. So it's easier if you're selling something. A lot of entrepreneurs do this, a lot of people selling stuff. And I'm not saying selling things a bad thing. I do have something at the end of this I'm going to sell, and you can feel free to turn it off if you want to, although I think you'll be interested. But building lists is easier if you're selling because people want what you have. What we can learn from this is let's start thinking of our lists in this way. What value can we offer? Even if you're not selling something or you're offering like a quick fix to weeknight dinners or something like that, what value can you offer as a blogger? So kind of think about that later. So let's dive into Mailchimp. But first, let's pause. Just to be difficult, I'm just going to make you pause. So you need to ask yourself why. And then saying about value, you need to think about that. I don't want you to be thinking about why email, because we talked about that. Not why Mailchimp, because we talked about that too. But I want you to think about why you are building an email list. Why are you building an email list? If you have paper down, scratch this question down if you don't have an answer. Maybe you already have an answer. But you need to think about why you're building an email list. And here's the why behind why you need to think about why. It's a lot of whys. If you don't know your why, you will struggle with your how. And you will struggle with your what. And what I mean by that is this: if you are not sure why you're building an email list, you're going to have trouble knowing what content to put in it. You're going to have more trouble knowing how often to send. You're going to have more trouble identifying the readers and knowing who you're sending it to. So kind of an example, like if you know your why is that you want to help moms to create easy weeknight dinner plans for their kids. I'm thinking of Momables, Laura Fuentes from Momables again. Hers is more school lunches. But if that's what your goal is, then you have to think about that makes it easier. Like, okay, I'm going to send out an email on Sunday before the week starts, or maybe even Saturday so people can shop. I'm going to send them out the week's shopping list that day. And then, maybe I'll send another email on Thursday to check on how people are doing and give some extra tips. So that's going to help. Knowing the why of your email list and what you're trying to accomplish can help you with the how and the what. All right. We are going to get crazy, crazy technical, and don't freak out because you're going to get a copy of all these slides in kind of a PDF form at the end of this. I'll email it to you guys. And I saw at least one person put an email in the chat box. So if you are not already signed up, if you did not get like an email with this link in it and stuff like that, I'll make sure you get this stuff. Okay, so we're going to start here. If you go into Mailchimp, and if you want to open it right now and just kind of toggle back and forth, that might be helpful. Or if it's just more helpful later to look at this and toggle, whatever works for you. Dashboard. It's a little mini view, and we're going to start with your lists. Mailchimp is really easy to use, but sometimes I get in there and I get lost. I forget what I'm supposed to. And if you're like me, I started with one list, and so I always got really confused because I didn't know where I was supposed to go. So even if you have one list, and we'll talk about multiple lists later. Go to lists. So that's where we're going to go. And then pick a list. Okay. So I went and I picked a list because I have 3 or 4. I didn't show that in that slide on there, but pick a list. And then we're going to go click on general forms. Okay, so we're going to spend a lot of time right here. So then that takes you here. And you've got this screen where it's going to say create forms. And then there's this little gray bar and you can click on it and all these options pop out. And it's really overwhelming. Don't get overwhelmed. Again, that's nothing else from tonight. Don't freak out. So we're going to spend a lot of time right here looking at these forms. And I hope that is helpful for you guys because there's so many great things you can do with these forms. Okay, so we're going to customize these forms. And let me pause really fast before I even get into, since I'm asking you why you're doing an email list, I want to tell you why you want to customize these forms. You want to customize these forms because of this. These forms allow you an extra opportunity to connect with your readers. With Mailchimp, the free account, you can't send what are called autoresponders. An autoresponder series is what you can send out. Like you can sit and write 5 emails that you want sent out to every subscriber over a period of a week after they subscribe. So like say they subscribe today, an autoresponder series will send them something tomorrow and then the next day or the other day, whatever days you choose. It could be 3, it could be 5. You might not want to do any. That is only available with the paid form of Mailchimp or another email list, which is also paid. You can't do autoresponders, but and the reason people use autoresponders is it follows up, it gives people an idea of who they are, and it gives you lots of great opportunities to connect. So we're not doing that. We're on a free Mailchimp account, which is a great way to save money. If you don't need to pay for an account, don't do it. So we're going to talk about some of these things. Okay, the first is your sign up form. So I'm going to click back up real fast. Here we are. And it's that first one you want to click on that gray box, stuff will open and you do sign up form. So this is what's going to show up if you use a text link on your blog. So if I'm on my blog and I'm like, hey, sign up here for my email list, and I highlight here, make that a link to my email list, this is what's going to show up to people. So they'll click the link and a new page pops up and this is what they'll see. And we're going to break this down. P.S. If you lose that link, I don't know why I always have trouble finding it. We're still back on that list page and the general forms. And if you look right below the sign up form, that big gray bar, you're going to see sign up form URL. So that's a great thing to have. You might want to put that like in Evernote or somewhere that it's on your phone, it's on your computer handy, because I'm always having to go back and find that link. All right, so let's get back to the sign up form. You can keep it super basic and just have like the blanks for people to sign up. I did something more custom. So here's what's up on my Mailchimp right now for my weekly chaos email, which is it comes from my lifestyle blog. If you may have signed up through createifwriting.com, which is my blog about writing and inspiration and blogging and that kind of stuff. But I have a lifestyle blog about parenting and food and other things, just random. That's kirstenoliphant.com. So I send a weekly chaos email, which is just like my blog. It's random. It's a little more personal. So you can see what I have here. I made a custom header. So immediately when people go to that form, they see some kind of branding. There's a link to my blog in there. I tell people about what they're going to get. I use a personal voice I have on there, unless I become Taylor Swift overnight, which would be weird on a lot of levels. I answer your emails when you hit reply. In fact, I love it. Let's get real. And then I have some links to social media. So you can see this. I've done my sign up form. It's super, super custom. Here's the thing. I did it wrong. Okay. We're going to customize a lot of things, but I realized preparing this I did it wrong. Okay. So you don't want a lot of busyness on this sign up form, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so I blocked out some of the things you don't want. I should have blocked them out in the picture. Custom header is great because that reminds people of your brand. An explanation of what they'll get is great because they may want to know. They may be like, what am I going to get in this email? I clicked the button, but I'm not sure still. You may need to sell them. Personal voice is fine, but this might be a little bit long. And then the only thing you really want is the form to sign up, other than, a little explanation and a personal voice. You want that form. And I like how on my picture, I cropped it out, but it says under their name and email, because this form does one thing. It should only do one thing, which is get people to sign up. Okay. So all of this other great stuff I put in these links and the stuff I worked really hard to do, I'm going to go delete it because I don't want people right now being like, ooh, I'm going to go to the blog. Ooh, she's on Twitter. Oh, Pinterest. I love Pinterest. Instagram. Let's see what she's putting on Instagram. Facebook. That's fun. And then they get lost in Facebook and they never come back to sign up. Okay, so again, this is a bad example. You can customize it. Don't put a bunch of other links. You want to drive them to one place, which is that little box that I left out of the photo where they sign up for your email list. Okay, we're not going to give them other options yet. That's coming. Okay, so that's the first form you'll see. Now here you get us, we're still back on that create the sign up forms, general forms. And this is what happens if you click that gray bar. So we did sign up form. Sign up form with alerts just tells people they've done something wrong, like not put a valid email address. I kind of leave that one alone. You can customize. I mean, you could customize everything if you want to. Whatever you want to do, you can customize it. Oh, it got robotic. I just checked the chats. No. Okay, it's better now. That's good. And again, there's a delay, so I'm seeing this later. Okay, so the sign up thank you page is where we're going to go next. That's number 2. So you got your sign up form, which just drives people to sign up. This thank you page pops up after people fill out the form on your site or they click through the sign up link. And so basically, okay, here's what it's going to look like. This is a really basic one. It'll say almost finished. We need to confirm your email address. To complete the subscription process, please click a link we just sent to you. And then I blacked that black spot is, I didn't want to use somebody's name in a bad example, but this is an email I signed up for. And it had the name of their blog, and that's it. It wasn't clickable. It was just the name of their blog. So if you do not customize your sign up thank you page, what happens? Nothing. This is basically a waste of the internet's time and your time and everything else. It's just a waste of space. Who wants to see this? Nobody. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Okay, and again, everyone's going to see this page. This has to do with that whole legal stuff with the canned spam. And that means that they have to confirm this. It's called a two-step opt-in. So, okay, why not take this opportunity? This screen is going to show up for everyone. It will show up. So let's do something with it and make it matter. So here we go. Here is one I like, and this is from imperfectfamilies.com. I really recently signed up for her list. Now there's no branding. I kind of like pictures because it reminds me like, who's that Imperfect Families? Like if there's a logo, I think that's nice. You have the option to do that. So she says, wait, you're not done yet. So it's personal already. I need to confirm your email address. Once you confirm your subscription, you'll be sent your free resource. And that's her freebie. We'll talk about those in a little bit. Don't forget to join the conversation on Facebook. See what I'm pinning on Pinterest. Thanks for subscribing. If you want to say hi, here's my email. Okay, do you see how personal? This is like what I put in my form for signing up, but it should really go here and not on that sign up form. So this is the time to send people to your other places because they're not officially on their list until they confirm via email. Give them a reason to confirm. This window will pop up. Give them somewhere to go. Here's what I did for mine. I have a banner, and I think it's really annoying. There are all these forms. You can tell them. I said, I know it's annoying to have so many windows, but there's a surprise for your perseverance. And I think if you click that, I think I went ahead and gave people the freebie. I'm assuming they're going to sign up. Give them somewhere to go. They're a captive audience. Don't waste their time. So that's your thank you page. We're going to move on down, and I know I'm probably going fast, but I want to be timely with you guys. And again, you'll get a copy of this so you can kind of go right through and do this. Your opt-in confirmation email. So this is an email. It's not a window that pops up. Okay, that's important to know. So this is the first time that people are going to get an email from you. This is mine, and I put on there meh. It's pretty boring. So this is, again, because of the canned spam. This is not what it looks like in their email so much, these little dot boxes. I should have mentioned that. This is me taking screenshots from Mailchimp where you edit that stuff. Okay, so this is what it looks like if you want to edit, and I'll open that window in a minute, but you kind of just click on this and a little thing will pop up and say edit, and you can add photos or whatever. So I said, I do yours a personal voice. You're about to make a great decision. Confirm your sign up to my weekly email. Just click the button below. This is again in their email, but that's really boring. Why would anyone ever want to get an email from me again? Here is really bad though. This is just not, if you do not change it, this is what it'll look like. People will get an email that has this ugliness going on. There's nothing to it. And you might be like, I don't know who this is. In fact, it took me a minute. I think I had to go to this girl's website to see like, who is this person? Which means I sign up for too many lists, but you don't want to, okay, so if you don't want to uh, have people wondering who you are, you need to do more. Here's one that's better. This is for one of, I mentioned by Regina, this is for one of her sort of like courses that she's doing. And it is, she's got color, she's got branding, you kind of know what you're doing. There's a hashtag. Yeah, there's more to it. And it still has that Mailchimp stuff down here. So that's better. There's a color change branding, catchy headline. There's a hashtag. It's kind of a call to action, but this one is even better. There's a logo, there's branding, there's a little description that reminds you of the freebie. Again, we'll talk about those later. And then what it's doing is, if he changed this confirm subscription, I'm going to flip back up. This one says, please confirm subscription, but you can customize that. Please confirm subscription to learn more about Pinterest. So it reminds you of why you want to be on this email list. So that's that email. That's the first email that you can give them. It's a confirmation email. Make the most of it. It's the first time you're going to get into their inbox. So this is a confirmation thank you page. And you guys, is this not so annoying that there are like 80 million pages and things that pop up just to sign up? If you want to know why growing your list is hard, this is one of the reasons. It's annoying, but again, it's legal. So, though, here's the thing, if people are going through all this trouble, they want to be on your list. So that's a good thing. Okay, I'm going to take a drink of coffee here. Whew. All right, confirmation thank you page. Again, it's not an email. It's a page. It'll pop up. You can customize it. So here is customization. Customizing is a good idea. It tells you in the email to watch for the freebie. It gives you more points of connection. Again, this is Imperfect Families, and she does something pretty similar to what she did before. It's not all that fancy. So links that people can go to, but is customizing someone else's page the best idea? So here's the question I really have. You can customize this thank you page like this, or, before we get to the full I just want to use this example. I love Ed Szewski, and he is, this is his confirmation page, and I remember it. Okay, so it's unexpected. I'm like, he's a writer about like faith stuff. I was like, why am I getting a rabbit? What is this rabbit about? It's memorable. I still remembered it enough to go find this and put it in here for you. It made me laugh. Our rabbit Eva is excited for you. It's personal and it's a little bit weird. Okay. And then you can see down below, I didn't include that in the screenshot, but then he says you're going to check your email because you're going to get 2 free books. So, okay, you could customize that form. Or look how cool this is. You can do the confirmation thank you page and edit it. And down below the screenshot where I cut out is where you'd be editing. Or look at this. Instead of showing this thank you page, send subscribers to another URL. What? You could send traffic to your own website automatically when they sign up for your email list. Okay, that's a really, really cool thing. And I would absolutely recommend that you take advantage of that, because what can it hurt? It sends people to your website. So here's a little glimpse. You can't see my whole thing, but my header would normally be up there. I actually took away my sidebar in this, but you can see, okay, it says subscribers only, really cheesy picture of myself. It says subscribers only page. Thank you for signing up. You're my people, free downloads for you. And then I have several of freebies that I give people here. The cool thing about this is it gives you traffic on your website, which is never bad, but it also gives you total control. You can, I took my sidebar out for this page. I really should put it back in now that I'm thinking about it, because I want to keep people on my page. This is a great place to, I've seen people have like a list of links, like here are my people's favorite posts with all these links to your own content. You want to keep them on your page. So this is a free, easy way to get people on your page to stay there. So I would highly recommend doing that. And here's another tip, just kind of in passing, but if you're doing a freebie, don't store it on your site as a media file, which is really the easiest way to do it. You can just upload that PDF right there and then use the link. It's so easy. However, you shouldn't. And the reason why is because, and I learned this when I went and did like a little lab with Amy Lynn Andrews, who has the newsletter, and I love her. People can search for that. They can find that freebie. This page, even though it's not listed on my blog, if you Google it, you can find it. And I really don't want that, but I also am not going to make it password protected. I'm not going to worry that much about people stealing stuff. But if you have an option, use something like Dropbox, and then you can share that link here instead of using it on your blog. Okay, fifth form. I hope you guys are still with me. This is so many forms, but again, you can go back later and check this out. Final welcome email. Okay, so again, this is not a page. This is an email. This is telling them the subscription worked and it's going to come to them. So this is another chance they're going to get a whole lot of email from you. It's coming into their inbox. And it's another chance for you to prove why someone should continue to open your emails. Okay, so make it count. Here is mine, and I got goofy with mine. Oh, and here you can see the little edit button was up when I was doing this one. That shows you kind of how this is, again, in Mailchimp, the screenshot. And as I was editing or customizing my forms, you just click edit and you'll see this is what it'll look like. So be personal, be memorable, be the right kind of weird. I think, again, that goes with being memorable. You may not consider yourself weird, but if you can think of something that's unique, that is, there's a lot of people who blog about parenting, and I'm one of those people. But I think this image of me trying to get out of this car, I really did get stuck. I feel like this might stick with people a little more than just a smiling picture of my face. It's a little bit weird. Some people might be turned off, and maybe those aren't my people, right? So you want to include links back to your site. Mine was a little bit longer, and so those links are down below. And you want to include the link to your freebie. Even if you send them to that thank you subscriber page, what if they click away before they see it? This definitely is the place through that email to deliver that freebie. And again, use Dropbox or something. I also went through and told them what they can expect. Okay. Hey, you guys, we're done with forms. But if you look at this list, there are so many things to customize. And I don't know that they all matter. I went through one day and just spent an hour and just looked at all of them. And then I signed up for my own email list to see what happened, because I was like, I don't know what some of these forms are. And sometimes you may never see them. But it's a little bit crazy. I think the goodbye email, I'm not sure if that's optional or not. That might be a good place to try to keep people. I think I give them something, I think I did actually set up most of these, like unsubscribe form. I put a funny picture again, which would either tell them it was a mistake, or it would tell them yes, I definitely want to be off this list. So it was personal. So you can take some time to do